What's going on with property prices right now? They're going through the roof. What's happening is, if you look at London, for example, there's only two types of people that own property in London now. There's people that bought tens of years ago, they bought it for 50 grand, 100 grand, and now it's worth $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. And then there's people that are super rich. Those are the only two types of people that own property in London.
Here we are again looking at an absolute nonsensical video with someone who doesn't have a real clue in terms of what's going on. As a person who works actively in this industry and helps a multitude and diverse amount of people purchase a property, I can tell you that that is absolute nonsense. But you can buy a property in London for £250,000. It won't be central, it will still be a London postcode, but you can still buy a property in London for 250, 300, 350 and there or thereabouts. So do you need to be super rich to buy a property in London? No, not at all. Let's go down the standard metric route and assume that you're getting about 4.5 times your income. If you're buying a property for £300,000, you get access to a multitude of different types of product. You can either have a £5,000 deposit with Halifax, or you can have the general 5% rule with the majority of lenders out there. Now, if you go down the route of the £5,000 with Halifax in particular, and assuming that you bought a property for £300,000 and having a mortgage of £295,000, you would need either a single salary of £65,000 per annum, or between yourself and a partner or another person, you would need £32,500 each to be able to purchase a property at £300,000 with a £5,000 deposit. Using that same metric, if you bought a property with a 5% deposit, so in this case a £15,000 deposit of a £300,000 property, you wouldn't be too far off, but you'd be looking at an individual number of £31,500 or approximately £63,000 in terms of combined income. If you went down the route of a 10% deposit, it'd be closer to about £60,000 between two people, or a £60,000 individual salary. Now, that is assuming that you're on a 4.5 times your salary metric. There are lenders out there that will give you 5.5 times your income, in some cases 6 times your income. So if you're using the same 5% rule on a purchase of £300,000, you still needed a mortgage of £285,000 and you qualified for the 5.5 times multiple, then your income would only need to be either £52,000 individually or approximately £26,000 each. Of course, criterion terms apply. Of course, you have to make sure you've got a decent credit score. You have to make sure you don't have copious amounts of debts, and you've got to ensure that the running of the property isn't too strenuous or too overbearing to impact these affordability rules. But to be clear, it is not impossible to buy in London. It's not impossible to buy anywhere. Halifax in particular is a genius move because they do the £5,000 product as well, which then means that you can qualify. And this is not just specific to first-time buyers. You can be a home mover in this as well. But if you was to use the Halifax setup, again, there is a specific rate. There is a specific fixed term period to go with it. But you can buy a property with a £5,000 deposit in order for you to be able to purchase something, get your foot on the ladder ASAP. There is one thing that I will agree with in this video in particular, which is prices are going through the roof. You may not see it right now, but as I have said multiple times over multiple videos, when the rates get higher, less people buy. When the rates get lower, more people buy. And when you are buying with so many people in competition with you, you're going to find yourself in a position where that £300,000 property that you could potentially get for 285, 290 in this market can very quickly become you overpaying for the property to 310, 315 because you're competing against several other people. So should you buy a property as soon as you possibly can to capitalize on potentially getting a better deal, even though the rate isn't as attractive? Yes, if you can and you can afford it, absolutely, because you will benefit in the long run. Should you force yourself to go and buy a property because you feel like as if you need to, because society says that you should do? No. Buy a property that suits you. It has to suit you. It has to fit within your financial situation. You have to feel comfortable. It is a massive purchase. So don't get drawn in to the idea of these individuals telling you that you're not going to be able to buy a property because it's only the super rich. It's nonsense. You can buy. Reach out to a broker to be able to walk you through it, but there is so many products out there for you.